Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to paint this cute little sushi painting. It's about 5 inches by 5 inches on a stretch canvas, and I've done 2 other sushi paintings, so this will hang up with those in my kitchen. And this reference photo is from the Food Paint Challenge on Instagram. I will link that down below so you can check that out. Since it's not my photo, I don't want to put it on screen, but I really enjoy that challenge, and the other 2 sushis I did were also from that challenge. And every Friday, the hosts post a brand new reference photo, and it's always a food, which is one of my favorite subjects to paint, so it's a lot of fun. I'm just sketching in with a fine tip acrylic marker. This is a Copic Acrylic marker, and they're holding up quite well. At first I was not really that impressed with these markers because they're kind of expensive for what they are, and there are much cheaper fine tip acrylic markers on the market, but I've been using these for about a year, and now I don't use them that often, but I am able to get them started and going every time I go to use them, so that's nice. That's nice. I was originally thinking they were a little, I still think they might be a little pricey for what they are, considering there's so many affordable options, but the fact that I'm able to go back to them after not using them for weeks or months at a time is really nice. So anyway, I will link those down below. I believe they're available open stock or in sets. I know sets are around 20 bucks for 6 markers. So they're a little on the high side, but they've held up pretty well. The acrylic paint I'm using is the Himi Jelly Acrylic, and I'm really enjoying that palette. Now I have recently topped it off because I was getting low on some of the colors. And this Himi Acrylic is a matte acrylic paint, and they're in these jelly cup, kind of like the jelly gouache, actually just like the jelly gouache palettes. And the only downside is that they don't offer replacement cups of paint, or replacement pouches of paint, so once you've used one up, you're kind of out of luck. So I've been looking for an option to refill it, and I decided to use the Meeden Soft Body acrylics because they were matte, and they're working pretty well. I did mix them in, like some of the cups were down to like maybe a quarter to a third full, so I did top them off with the Meeden and stir them in. I feel like the Meeden may be a little bit thinner, but otherwise, finish and whatnot, they seem very similar. And the Meeden paint has information as far as light fast and pigment information, so I like that because that's the other thing I didn't really like about the Himi was that there was light fast information but no pigment information, so you kind of had to take them at their word. And I feel like if there's pigment information as well, you have a little bit better idea about what colors are going to last and what ones aren't. But I haven't had any issues with these paints fading. Of course, I've only had them for I don't know, a year and a half, but so far so good, and I've had them displayed and I haven't had any issues. I wouldn't think I would this quickly, but even the swatch on the top of my palette hasn't changed at all, so that's I think that's pretty good. Pretty much basing most of this in with a 1/2 inch flat brush. I tried to keep things pretty loose and then just do some details at the end. I wanted to just get that texture of I think it's salmon on top of there. And then to do the rice, what I'm doing is painting in the darker tones, and then I'll paint white on top of it to lift out the highlights. So I'm using gray right now, and I'm going to use a little yellow ochre in there, and that's kind of I'm basically painting what the shadows between all the little kernels of rice would be, and then I'll go in with a small round brush to paint in the actual pieces of rice, and then as it mixes in with the darker color there, because I am working pretty quickly so I can go wet into wet, it'll give me kind of more of a natural looking rice effect, rather than having to let those layers dry and then have to go in and draw around the kernels of rice or grains of rice. That would just be kind of a pain, and I wanted this to be kind of a quick and fun project, and it really was. Especially, I think that's another nice thing. Doing one of the challenges on Instagram, like the food paint challenge, is nice because somebody else is picking your reference photo, so you're less likely to be fussy about it, right? Because it's not like some photo that you've put on a pedestal that's got to be perfect. And you grab a small canvas, you grab some paint markers or some acrylic paint, something very quick and easy, and just go to town. Or maybe you do a page in a watercolor sketchbook or a watercolor postcard or greeting card or something like that, where you can just enjoy yourself, have fun, and not make it too big of a deal. I think sometimes we get in our head about art, and it's like, oh, if I'm going to do this, it's got to be perfect, especially if you don't get to create very often. If you only have like an hour a week and, that's the only time you have, you can really get in your head about picking the perfect thing and picking the perfect medium and making sure that you're not wasting your time because you don't have very much time. And then sometimes you don't end up doing anything because you're so fixated on finding the perfect thing that you can't choose. It's kind of like scrolling through Netflix trying to figure out something to watch when there's so many options. You don't want to choose wrong and miss out on something even better that you don't end up watching anything. And I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to have that happen to you in your art. Just pick something and go. And as long as you're painting, you're going to improve. But sitting around looking at things that you might want to paint, that's not going to help you improve. Watching tons and tons of videos and never picking up a brush is not going to help you improve. You have to just get in there and paint something, draw something. And I think that's what I really like about these challenges. And then it's fun to share the artwork. I mean, you don't have to, obviously, but I find that really fun because I get to see what other people have done. And then, I'll get comments from other people that are doing the challenges. It's kind of fun. It's fun to see that stuff. Anyway, that's what I think. I do notice these days it is harder to see what other people have been creating on challenges just because of the way the hashtags have changed over on Instagram, but it's still fun. It's still fun to see what other people are painting and feeling like you're all kind of in on this big collaboration, which is, I think, something artists need. I think a lot of us are very social creatures and we need to be inspired. We can't live in a bubble, right? We need to be inspired by other artists. So most of this painting was done wet into wet or alla prima. So if you wanted to do this in oils, I think this would work really well. Or in regular gouache on paper, that would work fine too. Working wet into wet allows you to work quickly. It makes you think about making every stroke count because you're kind of like running against the clock. With this gouache dries really fast, so you got to make those very decisive choices about what color to lay down. I try to work in an economy of brush strokes, meaning I don't want to use 10 brush strokes if I can do it in 2, basically. And there are some challenges you can do, like you could challenge yourself to paint a painting in 20 brush strokes, or you could challenge yourself to limit yourself in some way. And I find that often makes you more creative, which might sound counterintuitive. How can you be more creative when you have fewer options? But having those limitations can really make you more creative. So something I've been really enjoying lately is doing those tiny ACEOs or artist trading cards, those tiny little paintings that are 2.5 by 3.5 inches. Just limiting to that size is helpful to bust you out a creative block. I think sometimes we get blocked, just like the Netflix thing. We get blocked because we have too many options. We have too many choices in supplies. We have too many choices in size. We have too many choices in subject. We are living in this stimulation overload where every time we pick up our phone, we're seeing beautiful art, or if we're lucky, we're seeing beautiful art. We're just having so many inputs, and it can be really hard to disconnect from that and do something with your hands and do something, It was funny. I was reading the other day, and I read a lot on my phone, but I'd gone to the library and I'd gotten a few books, and I was sitting on the couch having a cup of tea, reading a book, and I was just like, wow, I am really enjoying this. And it felt just so satisfying. And I'm like, I wonder why reading this book feels so satisfying. It was a book about, it was a cookbook, actually. It was an anti-inflammation book. And it had a bunch of recipes in it. And I actually picked it up because a lot of the recipes happen to be plant-based. And I'm like, oh, these look really good and they're healthy. I'll take that home. I'll try a few of these. And then I started reading the book, the premise of the book and why this guy wrote it. And I'm like, this is so enjoyable. And it's because I really had kind of let my brain get deep into something and not just skim. And I think when you paint, you're letting your brain get deep into something and you're not just skimming. You're not just, scrolling and looking. You're creating, not just consuming. So, art is so good for your brain. It's so good for your mental health. It's so good for everything. And then you get to look at that painting after you're done and be like, hey, look, I did that. That's something that's a tangible result of something you have done. You could spend a lot of time on your phone a day and have nothing to show for it, right? You might have learned a few things, yeah, absolutely. But when you have spent your time working in a sketchbook or working on a canvas, painting something, creating something, you have proof that you did something. And then you can share that online and inspire others. And then, if you follow the challenge, you can see what other people are doing. And I find that to be really inspiring too. And there you have it. I decided I'd sign my name with yellow because I think the yellow pops against the teal, and I had a little bit of yellow inside of that flower, and I thought it looked nice. And then all I got to do is give it a coat of varnish and pop it up on the wall next to my other sushi paintings. I hope you enjoyed this and found it inspiring. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!